happy.
And people will say to me, they say, well, Daniel, what about hell? I'll say, well, they didn't bring it up, and I darn sure didn't. Because maybe they might have checked and said, hey, Daniel, you're on this wrong list. You're supposed to be somewhere else.
They also want to know about hell. Is it a fiery, burning place? Well, what I found to be hell was separation from God. This is a total hell.
Darkness, where I was first. This is the same as somebody told you, the separation from light, from love, from God, from infinity. Of course, this is hell. That's why suicide was condemned by all religions. That's why they are telling that you will go to hell. It means you will go to nowhere. And nowhere does not exist. It means you will go somewhere on opposite than goodness.
Very often they're told, it's not your time to die yet. You've got things left to accomplish, so you must go back.
This weekend I was in morgue, and on Monday I was taken from morgue, washed, and they began autopsy. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. When they opened my abdomen, they took hematoma, and they began this T kind autopsy, and some great power took me with neck, I think that part I can explain, and pushed me down. And I saw this movement down, and then I felt my headache, and I opened eyes. And this was coming back to my body.
The next thing that I knew, I was floating over my body in the emergency room, and they were working on me. Then they stopped working on me. They put a sheet over me. They filled out a piece of paper, and they rolled me in a room. And I was lying in that room, and I was hovering above myself, watching myself. Then I heard what appeared to be an elevator door open, and these two guys came in, and they were getting ready to take me someplace. I later found out that that was probably the morgue. Then at that exact moment, I was inside a body again. It was on fire. It was in pain. I could not move. So I started blowing the sheet. And they jerked the sheet off, pushed me back into the emergency room, worked on me and stabilized me. And in the course of the next 7 days, I was completely paralyzed.
That it's so touching to me that in the closing moments of their life, that so many people come back reporting that what was most important to them at this time was love, the question of how they had loved their fellow human beings.
It had a lot of effects and change in my life. It's made me a more understanding person of others. I know I don't have the right to take my life. didn't want to return, and I would love to go back. Someday I will, and then I hopefully can stay and not have to come back and try again. But I know I cannot take my life and go there. Things would not work out right. But I think I'm a better person by watching for the needs of others and not being always selfish. Oh, I'm still selfish. I'm still a human. But it has changed my way of thinking.
How to love other people and how to forgive and to put yourself in the place of other people in order to understand them. And that's something that you have to do in order to love people and in order to love yourself. Because if you hold grudges and you, it hurts you and it hurts the other people, and it is a barrier to love if you can't forgive. You don't necessarily have to forget when people hurt you, but you have to understand them and forgive them. And I think that is the most important thing about love that I've learned, and how to look at how we're alike rather than how we're different.
This is the main message which I brought back, that love is what cannot be changed. This is everlasting. And love is with life always together. Love what keeps this world alive. Love as an eternity. Love as a basic of humankind. And we are alive because of love.
I think the most important point about the death experience is that it is orderly. And the fact that small children, all the way to grown people, have similar experiences. And if people could understand that if they would pay more attention to each other and to care and have faith and hope in each other, we could also begin to believe and have faith and hope in the true nature of the love of God. And not God in a religious value, but God in a spiritual value. That through love all things are truly possible.
And also they tell us that their fear of death is totally gone after this, that they have no more fear of death whatsoever.
I saw life as an infinite life, infinite light, as an everlasting being. We cannot die because we are already created to live forever. The dimension of spirit is everlasting life.
The third thing that I've learned is that life is forever. Death is nothing more or less than a doorway, something you walk through.
Death does not exist. Don't be afraid. Death is only the part as a station, railroad station, where you come always to go to another life.
I find it very comforting and encouraging to hear from so many people who have explored life beyond physical death that life goes on. So I know it's true, if either of us went tomorrow, we'd be joined again in what must seem like an instant. Back in a flash, as you always say. But whatever happens, I want you to know that I feel very blessed to have had you as my father, and I love you very much. With much love, Peter.
Know that it'll be a safe journey, that you'll be taking that journey not alone, but surrounded by love, a greater love than you understand. And when you get to your part and place in that journey, whether it be not to come back or to be like a few of us to return, know that it symbolizes the orderly way in which God has prepared life for each of us. And in that life, the orderly passing and movement to another life, that you do not die, that the love of God sees you through all things, and that you will be forever, just in another place.
It was about 3 weeks later when we got the phone call. I was told that he died with a smile on his face, and the last words he said were, "The light."